All right, we are officially live on YouTube. I'm going to put the link in the chat in case you want to share this event with any friends who couldn't make it live today. I'm also, if you want to watch the recording later, it'll be available on YouTube during this event and after. Oh my gosh, we got a really distributed group here today. Jericho, Vermont. We got somebody from Michigan, Pennsylvania. We got Lynn from the Library of Congress. Hello, Lynn. So some quick housekeeping. We are, live streaming this event, and we encourage an active chat. We love to hear from you, and we like to be responsive to your questions and comments. That being said, we might read out anything you put in the chat. So if you have something confidential, just email it to us later, because we're going to be reading out the chat throughout. I'm Caroline from the Scistarter team. I am here with my friend from the network of the National Library of Medicine and the All of Us research program. And we're so grateful that you all made it here today, that you're either affiliated with a library or a community-based organization, or you just want to take a leadership role in citizen science, especially pertaining to Citizen Science Month this coming April. We have a lot of resources to share with you today, but the one key takeaway that I'd like you all to have is that anyone can do citizen science and anyone can lead their community in citizen science. And we're here to present you with the tools and the ideas to do that. Before we get rolling, don't forget to put your zip codes in the chat. It helps us keep track of who we're reaching. Maybe if you already have a question, you can put that in the chat too. Or if you have a fun fact you want to share with us, or honestly, anything in the chat goes. We just want to hear from you. So don't be shy. Be conversational with us. All right, we have a poll. So we want to know, have you participated in a citizen science project before? And there are no wrong answers to this question. Maybe you've done a bunch of citizen science. Maybe you've never even heard of citizen science. Maybe you're not particularly sure. That's okay too. Just tell us your answer. If you haven't heard of citizen science before, we're going to tell you what it is today. If you're a citizen science pro, hopefully you'll learn some new best practices about community engagement. There really should be something for everyone in this event. So I'm going to keep the poll up for a few more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to end the poll. And we'll share those results so you can see who you're in the room with. So it looks like a little over half of you have done citizen science before. Quite a few of you haven't, and some of you aren't sure. That is great. By the end of this event, you should know everything you need to know to start citizen science or to take your citizen science participation to the next level. All right, so let's do our next poll. Now we want to know, have you heard of Scistarter before? All right, get those answers in. I'm seeing some really interesting answers. It's about a 50-50 split, which is cool. I'm really excited to tell you all about Scistarter. So get those answers in. 3, 2, 1. I'm about to close the poll, and we're going to end the poll. Share those results. So a little less than half of you have heard of Scistarter before. The majority haven't, which is great. I'm going to tell you all about it. All right, now we have our third poll. We want to know, have you heard of NNLM before? NNLM is the network of the National Library of Medicine. All right, some interesting answers here too. Get those votes in, everybody. I'm seeing, it looks like quite a few of you have, but a significant number of you haven't. All right, I'm going to give you a few more seconds to vote, so get your votes in if you haven't yet. 3, 2, 1, and we're going to end the poll. Share results. So it looks like about 60% of you have heard of NNLM, but about 40% of you haven't, which is great. We're going to tell you about NNLM as well. All right, now we have our next poll question. We want to know, have you heard of All of Us before? The All of Us research program. All right, get those answers in. And thank you, everybody, for tolerating our poll questions. We do this, because we're curious about you. We want to know more about you, but also it gives everybody a chance to kind of get into the event before we get started. I like it as an introduction, an icebreaker, and just to make sure that we're serving you and addressing the knowledge that you need. All right, I'm going to give you a few more seconds to vote. So 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to end the poll. Share results. So it looks like the vast majority of you, about 80%, have not heard of all of us, but about 20% of you have. And you will hear about all of us today from Michael from the NNLM. All right, now we want to know, were you part of previous Sit-Sci Day or Sit-Sci Month efforts? And we actually do have a little history lesson in this event for you. We're going to tell you the origins of these celebrations, these citizen science extravaganzas that we do. So get those votes in. Okay, I'm seeing some interesting answers here. The vast majority of you, it looks like so far, were not part of previous Sit-Sci Day or Sit-Sci Month efforts. And as I always tell people, Citizen Science Day, it was too much fun. We needed an entire month to get all the fun in. Okay, I'm going to keep it up for a few more seconds to get your votes in. 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to end the poll. Share results. So about 90% of you are new to this. You were not part of Citizen Science Day or Citizen Science Month 2020. But a few of you were, so welcome back, those of you who were. We'll show you some new ideas and new things you can do for this next Citizen Science Month in April 2021. But the majority of you weren't, so you're going to learn some new things. All right, and this is our last poll question, I promise. We want to know, and you can check all that apply, who are you? Are you an aspiring citizen scientist? Are you a parent of an aspiring citizen scientist? Are you a teacher, an educator, a troop leader, etc.? Are you affiliated with a community-based organization? Are you a librarian or part of a library staff? Are you just a bored person on the internet? That's okay too, you're allowed. Do you not identify with any of these categories? That's okay too. We just want to know a little bit of, your perspective. All of these categories can organize citizen science efforts. No matter who you are, you have a community and you can get them doing real scientific research. All right, I'm seeing, oh my gosh, the library staff are in the lead. A lot of you are part of library staff. But there are quite a few, educators and people with community-based organizations as well. And for most of this presentation, we're going to be, just for the sake of syllables, we're going to be calling community-based organizations CBOs. So I'll let you all vote. Get your votes in if you haven't voted yet. 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to end the poll. And we'll share those results. So about 80% of you are librarians, are part of a library staff. About 15% of you are with CBOs. About 19% of you are teachers, educators, troop leaders. Quite a few of you are aspiring citizen scientists. And we do have 2 bored people on the internet with us today. I hope by the end of this event you are entertained. All right, and we'll stop sharing those results. Okay, so before we present about specific resources, let's just all get on the same page about what citizen science is. Citizen science is a collaboration between scientists and those of us who are curious, concerned, and motivated to make a difference. Basically, citizen science is any time you turn your curiosity into impact and you move science forward, either by collecting data, analyzing data, just becoming a meaningful part of the scientific process. Usually, citizen scientists are volunteers for different ongoing projects. And citizen science projects, they come in all shapes and sizes from everywhere in the world. And they address all sorts of different scientific disciplines, everything from astronomy to health to plants and animals and everything in between. So the thing about citizen science is you can definitely find a project that interests you. And you can do science no matter what training you have, as long as you follow the project protocols. And with Citizen Science Month, it's just an opportunity for you to celebrate citizen science in whatever way makes sense for you. If you're a library staff member, maybe you just print out citizen science bookmarks about cool projects from the Scistarter resources page, and you put those in your books for curbside pickup. Maybe you organize a Zoom hackathon and pick a particular project and everybody contributes for as much as they can, and you do something significant for Alzheimer's research. There's so many possibilities with citizen science. And our role at Scistarter, for those of you who haven't heard of Scistarter before, scistarter.org, our main job is to connect you to those citizen science opportunities. And so if you have a project, an event, or tool that needs volunteers, you can add that to Scistarter. And if you're a curious person, you can come to Scistarter to discover those opportunities. It can be a little overwhelming, though, because there are thousands of projects on the Scistarter platform. That's why I love this page so much that was sponsored and supported by the network of the National Library of Medicine and the All of Us Research Program, because it's a microsite on Scistarter that kind of walks you through the steps of getting started. Rather than just setting you loose on the thousands of projects, events, and tools on Scistarter, you can come to this page. I put the link in the chat, and if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and type in scistarter.org to your browser. Feel free to minimize the Zoom window and type it in. Go ahead and create your Scistarter account. Even if you're a facilitator and you're mainly going to be using Scistarter to get your community involved in projects, having a Scistarter account is really helpful because it allows you to keep track of the projects, events, and tools that you've joined or saved on Scistarter. And on the scistarter.org/NLM page, not only can you make your Scistarter account, but you can also access an Introduction to Citizen Science tutorial. So I know some of the people on the line are kind of citizen science pros. You know everything there is to know. This tutorial could still be really helpful for you because let's say you're at a CBO and you're organizing some sort of public-facing event, and most of your community has never heard of citizen science. You can give them the scistarter.org/NLM link, and this tutorial, available in both Spanish and English, walks them through the what, the how, the who, and the why of citizen science. And it's interactive. There are quizzes, there are videos, you get a certificate at the end, and it was also written at a 5th grade level, so it can be accessible to all sorts of different people from all around the world. So I really urge you to go to that scistarter.org/NLM page. If you haven't already, feel free to minimize me and go ahead and do that. Make your Scistarter account, click through that Introduction to Citizen Science tutorial, and discover different featured projects and events presented by NNLM, All of Us, and Scistarter. We have lots of fun event series that we showcase on this page, and you're welcome to join us on Zoom for those, as well as get ideas for your own programming activities. Another way to do that is with the Library and Community Guide to Citizen Science. So I'm going to put this long URL in the chat as well. But this guide was produced by a number of different partners. So Arizona State University, the NNLM, Scistarter, the All of Us Research Program, IMLS, and so much more. And it's basically a small book. It's a 56-page PDF. And if you have never heard of citizen science before, or even if you have, it kind of gives you, oh my gosh, I clicked enter too quickly. But we'll email out this URL in our follow-up notes. Or you could go ahead and type it into your browser yourself. It's also linked to on the NLM page on Scistarter, so scistarter.org/NLM. And I really urge you to click through it. And we also update it periodically. So I believe this is the 3rd edition that we released in December of 2020. Michael came in with the URL. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you. And let me get it to all panelists and attendees. And that's another thing, too. If you want to communicate with your fellow attendees, don't forget to select all panelists and attendees in the chat. And thank you so much, Michael, for that URL. But yeah, please click through it. We'd love for you to, if you have any changes or you see something that should be added or done better, you can email us at Scistarter at info@scistarter.org, and we can include your feedback in the 4th edition. Or maybe you do something really amazing in your community for Citizen Science Month 2021, and we spotlight you in the next edition of the guide. That's something we'd be happy to do as well. So, like I said, there are thousands of projects, events, and tools listed on Scistarter. And I really love this quote from Carl Zimmer at Discover Magazine. Scistarter is the Amazon.com of citizen science. If you want to contribute to scientific research, if you want to be a meaningful part of the scientific process, you can definitely find something on Scistarter. And another page I wanted to direct you all to, because I know the libraries and CBOs are a big part of this event, on scistarter.org/library-resources, we have kits that you could make for your library. So one example, a featured project that's actually on the scistarter.org/NLM page is the Globe at Night project. And the reason I like this project so much is, let's say at your library, you have an astronomy club, or you know that your patrons are really into outer space. The Globe at Night project allows folks to study light pollution. So you could be out stargazing like normal, but if you are able to look up at the night sky and follow the steps on Globe at Night, so refer to the star charts and report what you see, you can help these researchers understand the global problem of light pollution, which has really big implications for human and animal health pertaining to circadian rhythms and just the general ecosystem. But another cool thing about the Globe at Night project is you don't need any tools to participate, but you can use a special tool called a sky quality meter to answer extra questions and make your contribution that much more robust. And at Scistarter, we've provided, along with our partners at Arizona State and IMLS, different project instructions and ideas for how to create project kits, including for the Globe at Night project. And there's a lot of other stuff that we have recommended for libraries on this page. So we really encourage you to check it out if you are part of the library staff or a community-based organization. So now I'm going to pass the mic to Amy from NNLM, and she's going to talk about how we came from Sit-Sci Day to Sit-Sci Month.
Hi, guys. So I just wanted to give like a quick overview of sort of how citizen science has come along just in the last few years and some of the ideas of ways that you can get involved. To start with, whether you want to just dip your toe in or dive in, a great place to start is participation in Citizen Science Month. This is a celebration of citizen science that actually started out as just Citizen Science Day back in 2016. And like Caroline said earlier, it was just too much fun to hold in just one 24-hour period. So it has expanded to encompass the whole month of April. And we have our citizen science working group that helps to coordinate those events across not just the US, but all around the world. And so we would love to have you participate in that with us. Just as an example of a program that happened as part of Citizen Science Month that might be an inspiration for you guys, my predecessor at the Pacific Southwest Regional Medical Library with NNLM, Kelly Ham, worked with the LA Public Library to create a team to compete in the Stall Catchers Megathon in 2019. Between all of them, they were able to complete 3.5 months worth of research looking for the stalls associated with Alzheimer's, and we'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. But they were able to complete that much research in just one weekend as part of a Citizen Science Month project. Next slide.
Yeah, and I want to show you all that picture. Look at them. They're so proud of their accomplishment. There's Kelly on the left, Darlene from Scistarter is there, Vivian Bird from the Los Angeles Public Library. And this is a screenshot from the Library and Community Guide to Citizen Science. So this could be you. Let's say you do a Zoom event with your community-based organization and you all just blow it out of the park and you do a ton of research. Screenshot it, send it to us. We'll put it in the library guide.
So Scistarter and NNLM are about citizen science all year round. So it's not just during the month of April for Citizen Science Month. And one of the other ways that you can get involved with citizen science is through summer reading programs. For instance, this past summer, with everything being virtual, Scistarter and NLM joined with several public libraries to do virtual summer reading events. We were able to coordinate events that highlighted stories of citizen scientists, their research projects, and how they connected to the collaborative summer learning program and the theme of Imagine Your Story. The mission was to educate and engage viewers with citizen science, highlight a specific project, introduce the NIH All of Us research project for precision medicine, and spotlight the library's summer reading programs. So the host library's summer reading programs. So as you might imagine, this year's theme, Tales and Tales, definitely lends itself to a lot of citizen science projects that are available on the Scistarter platform already. And again, we encourage you to go over to the scistarter.org/NLM page, and you can learn more about some of those past programs and explore some ideas for future programs to do with summer reading. And then this map is just fun on the next slide here. It highlights 13 of the libraries in the United States that NNLM worked with this past summer to highlight citizen science projects, and covered topics around health, the environment, Alzheimer's, light pollution, like the Globe at Night project, tap water, weather, climate, flu, plastic pollution, all sorts And this year, of course, we would love to add even more blue dots to this map. And as you might notice, it only includes the continental US at the moment, and we would love to expand that out beyond just the 48 continental states and go all the way out to the outlying territories. We would love to have participation from all over.
It's almost like we did a road trip, you know. I mean, I think our first
a virtual road trip. Yeah.
You could go from Howe, you know, through Pennsylvania, go through Missouri, hit up Kansas, and then make your way to California. Or you could go the other way around. But yeah, we would love to virtually travel with you this year.
On this next slide, we're actually highlighting a particular case study of a summer reading program from this past year that worked really well. So this one of our youth service librarian partners from Missouri was able to partner with one of the project leaders for the Globe at Night project and host a virtual program talking about astronomy and careers in science, also sharing information about all of us and how library patrons could get more involved as citizen scientists. And there is a whole recording available on the scistarter.org/NLM if you're interested in learning more about their program and more details about what they were able to do. But that is a really fun one. And astronomy, I feel like, is one of those great all ages programs from kids to adults. We just enjoy looking at the stars and getting that opportunity to not just stargaze, but also to contribute to research is a really fun way to get an all ages program going during the summer. Of course, citizen science is happening all year round. So I will toss it back to Carolyn to share about some of our other projects that we've been doing this year.
Definitely. And one last note on this program, I can't say enough nice things about Alinda, the Children's Services librarian who did this event, because she really went above and beyond. Like, the event got written up in their newspaper in Missouri. She had her patrons after the event essentially map out their town as a grid so they could systematically map light pollution for the entire town. I think she's so inspirational. And that was a really good event too, because, you know, we had Michael, I think it might have been Tess for this one. Tess talked about all of us, like Amy said, and this could be you all, you know, you have the resources to set this up, and they hosted it on Scistarter's webinar account. So we ran online registrations for them, and we helped them with the slide decks and the social media toolkits and things like that. But Alinda really made the event her own and had a candid Q&A dialogue with Dr. Connie Walker. Like, Dr. Walker is a first-generation college graduate, and she was able to talk about why she became an astronomer in the first place, and she cited Star Trek as the reason, which I thought was really fun. So you can make this, you can take a topic like astronomy, like Amy said, that appeals to all ages, and make it really accessible and doable with a citizen science project like Globe at Night. And we had another unique format in the fall. So after Summer Reading 2020 wrapped up and we all imagined our stories, we did in the fall kind of a different system. We had 4 different events, and the first hour of each event would be about a citizen science project on the scistarter.org/NLM page. So this picture I have on this slide is of an air quality sensor project where they teach people how to build their own particulate matter sensors and then monitor air quality in their communities. And after that first hour that was really open to a general audience, then anyone who wanted to could stick around for 30 minutes and hear from NNLM and all of us in Scistarter, as well as the project leader, leadership tips and tricks, you know, ways that they could take this project and citizen science in general to the next level in their community. And what all the events had closed captioning in American Sign Language. And one event, the event that you're seeing on the screen about that air quality sensor, Conario, was offered in English and in Spanish. So that's another thing too, like maybe your community has a language other than English that's a big priority language for you. You can probably find a citizen science project on Scistarter that has multilingual resources, including the Conario project, which is featured on the scistarter.org/NLM page. So now we're in our next series, which leads us up to Citizen Science Month. In January, our featured project is Stall Catchers, where people are looking into Alzheimer's research. We had our first event for it yesterday, and we have our next event for it same time next week. And then we have Eterna, which is an RNA-based medicines game, and Norika, which is a mental health research game. And the thing that all these projects have in common is they're very accessible because they're online. So you can do it from pretty much anywhere, which really helps when you have a community that might be social distanced. And we keep on experimenting with our formats. So for the first week, people learn about the project, how to do it. The project leader does some demos. Then the idea is that they spend the next week participating and they come back with any questions or any feedback about their experience for the project leader. And if you all didn't come to yesterday's event but are curious about this, RSVP for Stall Catchers next week. You can find the link to RSVP on the NLM page. And I'll put the direct link in the chat as well. We would love, love, love to see you there. And I think it also, for all of you, it could provide a model for how you could do your own events during Citizen Science Month or before it too. Oh my gosh, I have sticky fingers today. Let me get this direct registration link in the chat, bit.ly, Stall Catchers Ask Questions. And you won't be completely lost, I promise, if you come to next week's event. We'll do a brief recap about what Stall Catchers is. Ask questions. There we go. And this will also be included in our follow-up email from this event. So that's Stall Catchers. It's where you play a game to accelerate Alzheimer's research, and you can discover instructions for it on scistarter.org/NLM. And actually, on the line with everyone yesterday, we made a team together for Stall Catchers that we all participated in and all joined. So we'll be able to see, down to the person, what they accomplished in Stall Catchers during our intervening week. And with Stall Catchers, we don't have time to go too much into it, and you'll have to read more about it on your own, but you classify blood vessels as stalled or flowing to help scientists understand different treatments with Alzheimer's. Every data set kind of has a different purpose, and they're testing a different thing, but those annotations are pivotal, whether or not the blood vessel is stalled or flowing. And then in February, we have Eterna, where you can help scientists develop RNA-based medicines by solving puzzles. And Eterna's biggest investigation right now is about building a COVID vaccine, an mRNA-based COVID vaccine. You may be thinking, don't we already have COVID vaccines? But the cool thing about the one Eterna is building is it should be more accessible to the developing world, because you wouldn't have to have the same constraints about what temperatures to store it at and things like that. And I'm definitely not the expert, so I really want, if you're curious about this, for you to join our February event so you can pepper due soon Dr. Kim, the project leader, with all your questions. And then you potentially could get your community to make an impact on this project before Citizen Science Month, during it, and after it. And then last but not least, in March, we're featuring Norika, where you can improve mental health and dementia research by playing games on your phone. And this project is with some friends of ours from Trinity College in Dublin. It's a global project, and they're very excited about expanding their reach to North America by partnering with us and bringing in NLM and all of us for a special Keynote 2 event series. So we'd love to see you in March to learn about how you can play games on your phone and help researchers conduct the most ambitious study of mental health and dementia research I've ever seen in the citizen science world. All right, now I'm going to pass it back to Amy, who's going to talk about facilitating all of us in libraries and CBOs.
So All of Us is a project close to my heart. It is what I primarily work with at the network of the National Library of Medicine. It's also just one I'm a total fangirl of, even before I came to work for NNLM. It's building on the framework that was laid with the Human Genome Project, and Michael will talk more about it here in a minute, but it is a huge and important research project that the NIH has spearheaded, and it is actually going to be up on Scistarter soon as one of our affiliate projects, just like Norika and Eterna and those other projects that Carolyn was just talking about. So we would love to see libraries and community organizations hosting programs around All of Us specifically as well. And it's also a great opportunity to partner with health organizations in your community. You do not have to be the expert in science and health science, and we don't expect you to be doing citizen science is a great opportunity to partner with those organizations that exist within your community and build those connections between your organization, your customers and patrons, and those other organizations, especially the ones that work in the health sphere. So this is just kind of a rough outline of the steps to go through to help build those connections and create those programs. And then there at the bottom is a case study from the Mexican American Opportunity Foundation. They actually partnered with a few organizations to present a Facebook Live event that introduced all of us and the science behind all of us in Spanish to their patrons and interested audience members. Hispanic groups, Black Americans, several groups are underrepresented in medical research. So having that opportunity to reach out to those people and get them involved in citizen science and medical research is super awesome, frankly. And so I'll drop the link for that here in the chat as well, if you would like to go and watch that whole video and see how they were able to present that program on the Facebook platform.
Awesome stuff. So now this leads us to Citizen Science Month. We've gotten you all excited about these different opportunities and how you can make a difference with citizen science. So now we're going to talk about how you actually do it. So the purpose of Citizen Science Month is to inform and engage the public on the core principles and practices of citizen science and to amplify the opportunities to participate through public libraries and CBOs. So that's you all. And I thought this was great. So Citizen Science Month is anyone can do anything for it, right? Any project, person, organization on Earth could plan something during April to be excited about citizen science in whatever way they saw fit. But the logos you see on the screen, the partners you see on the screen, so the NNLM, all of us, Scistarter and Arizona State University, they've really come together to create a suite of resources for you. In 2020, we pivoted, prepared, produced, and participated because we were originally, so we had Citizen Science Day, as Amy told you, she gave you the full history, that existed beforehand with other partners like the Citizen Science Association, the Park Service, and partners who are still planning events for Citizen Science Month and doing things for Citizen Science Month to this day. But in 2019, because we had such an overwhelming response and enthusiasm from the global community, we said really needs to be more than a day. It needs to be a month. And the first Citizen Science Month was going to be April 2020. And there were a mixture of in-person and online events planned. But because of new public health measures and social distancing, we moved a bunch of programs, projects, events, and materials to a virtual context. And it was more successful than we could have imagined. So this next time around for our Citizen Science Month 2021, this coming April, we're seeing people plan events, once again in an online context, often with Scistarter's help, but anyone can plan an event, add it to Scistarter. It doesn't have to be hosted on our webinar account by any means. I'll get into that in a sec. But also socially distant outdoor events or other events in a library or CBO context. There's really a whole range of possibilities here for you. I really like this graphic. It was something we made for 2020 because a lot of people were at home or in their community or practicing safe social distancing, and they were still able to explore the world even from a more homebound context or neighborhood-bound context. And this, I wanted to show you all the range of people who were involved in Citizen Science Month 2020. These are just screenshots from Twitter. All the different organizations and groups that were doing things for it, I thought was really compelling, including individuals. You don't have to be a big organization to do something for Citizen Science Month and to add that event to Scistarter. So what are some programming ideas? So you can do online engagement with Scistarter Lists or through scistarter.org/NLM. I'm actually going to close out the slides in a sec to show you that. You can make citizen science kits at your library, like we showed you earlier with that scistarter.org library resources page, which I'll show you in a second as well. You could even just do a book display. We have a book list available on our resources page that you could use as a jumping off point for a book display. And this could even include Scistarter's book, The Field Guide to Citizen Science. And there are some resources for a book display. If you wanted to do a shelf talker about it, we have stuff for that on the resources page as well. you could do an online live streamed event. And I'll show you where you can book my time if you want me to help you run registrations and do a live streamed event similar to this one. If you made your way to this Zoom webinar today, we can replicate this format for your event. Big or small, I promise I'll bring the same amount of enthusiasm to a community of 5 people at a rural library, as well as, maybe a city CBO. No matter where you are, we can have an exciting citizen science event. And we really encourage you to partner with local groups. That case study we showed you earlier of that library in Missouri, the Riverside Regional Library, Alinda partnered with her local Dark Sky organization to make that event a success. And then she got the word out with local news. And then she was able to create that grid to map light pollution across her community. So these events are the most powerful when they don't end at the online event. So you could have a really impactful event, a one-off, where everyone does stall catchers and makes a difference for 1 hour. That could be really great too. But you can also take it to the next level and use this event to jumpstart programming in your CBO or library forever after in citizen science. So scistarter.org/NLM, we showed you that. We also really want you to either join our network or join our office hours. We have a mailing list that I'll be signing all of you up for today, unless you opt out. We'll go over that more at the end. But I'm just briefly going to exit that, and I'm going to show you an example of a Scistarter list. So when you make your way to the scistarter.org/NLM page, we showed you all this earlier. There, you can learn more about all of us on this page. You have that tutorial we mentioned. You have the Library and Community Guide to Citizen Science. You have those 3 projects for those events that we have going on in January, February, and March. We have all these projects that we've done events for in the past. But we also have resources for you. If you want inspiration, you can watch those events that Amy mentioned that are archived, including a book event. I know a lot of you are library staff and you love books, so you could definitely do a book event about the Field Guide to Citizen Science. But we have a list feature where you could select some Scistarter projects for your community, add them to a list, and then send that list out to others to understand their participation in projects. So what do I mean? I'm a visual learner, so I'm going to show you all a visual. This is an example of someone who, and this is a completely free tool that Scistarter made in response to new social distancing measures, because we were hearing from a lot of CBOs, educators, library staff that they wanted help engaging their community in something impactful and meaningful during the pandemic. So we made it so they could easily put together a list of trusted research projects, add some notes about it. So it'll load in just a sec, give it a minute. I'm asking my computer to do a lot right now. I'm asking it to let me talk to you on Zoom, to simultaneously live stream to YouTube, and also to load this list, but give it a sec. A librarian in Illinois, for this example, she picked some projects for her teen volunteers. So she said, do these projects, and she picked Scistarter affiliate projects. So we discussed earlier, there are thousands of projects, events, and tools on Scistarter, but of these, a few hundred, so ones like iNaturalist or iSeeChange or Stall Catchers, and read more about these projects. They all have really interesting research questions, but a few of these projects have opted to go the extra mile to allow people to track the number and frequency of their contributions to these projects in their Scistarter dashboard. So what does this mean? It means that on Stall Catchers, if I sign up for Stall Catchers with the same account I use to sign up for Scistarter, I'll be able to go to my dashboard on Scistarter and see, oh my gosh, I contributed 7 times on October 28th, and I've contributed 40 times this year. I don't see, information about the type of contribution it was. I don't see if it was stalled or flowing, but I see the participation statistics. And that's true for all these affiliate projects. So this librarian from Illinois, her name's Kimmy. She's awesome. She actually did 2 events with us too, which was really fun. So you could do events similar to Kimmy's. But because she made this list, and you can find info about how to do that on the NLM page, she's able to see the number and frequency of people who have viewed this list, their contributions to these projects, and help her teen volunteers do real science, even if they might be socially distanced at the moment. So that's just one example of something you could do for Citizen Science Month at your library or CBO for your community. I'm going to be signing you up for this mailing list, But if you have friends who are not here and they want to sign up for Citizen Science Month updates or just updates for facilitators in general, they can go to citizensciencemonth.org/mailing list and sign up for those Scistarter planning updates. And then they can also join my office hours every Thursday. So at 8 a.m. Eastern and 11 a.m. Eastern each Thursday, open to all. People can join me on Zoom and they can get help if they want to create a registration page for a Zoom event, if they want help adding their event to Scistarter. You can get all of that through these office hours. And of course, our hub for all that Citizen Science Month goodness is citizensciencemonth.org. So that's a microsite on Scistarter. You can also find your way to it from that NLM page. But at citizensciencemonth.org, you can get those event resources we mentioned. So like social media graphics, you can get shelf talker templates. Someone asked us once, they said, I need a citizen science yard sign for my socially distant outdoor event. And we made them a yard sign template. So there are lots of Citizen Science Month resources on this page. And you also have resources. I think we're updating our database at the moment, so we'll let it be for a sec. But you also have resources to add your event to Scistarter for other people to discover. So just to recap, the Field Guide to Citizen Science is available as an ebook for a lot of library services, and you can also, get it wherever books are sold, but that could be a cool thing to showcase in your library. It provides an introduction to citizen science for someone who's never heard of it before and wants to get started. You can check out the library resources page to get resources about libraries and, find the Field Guide to Citizen Science and other kits, and there's a lot there. So there's a lot to explore on that library resources page. You can get library kits, and you can also, if nothing else, if you feel really overwhelmed right now, you can just go to scistarter.org/NLM to make your Scistarter account, to go through that citizen science tutorial, and to access the library and community guide to citizen science. And if you still feel overwhelmed, join my office hours on Thursday, and we can take it at your own pace and talk about it. So Citizen Science Month 2021, it's this coming April, but it's never too early to start planning. We have the options for folks to sign up for social media takeovers. We haven't even touched on this yet. That just shows you how much is here. We have these handles on Instagram and Twitter at @CitSciMonth. If you want to tweet at it right now, I'll retweet you because I'm informally doing the takeover this week. But a different person, organization, or entity takes it over every week and shares their unique perspective on citizen science. So Amy from NLM, who you heard about earlier on this call, she took over the account, so we gave her the logins to CitSciMonth on Twitter and Instagram during the holiday break. And she was able to tell people fun holiday projects they could get involved with. She was able to talk about everything that NLM has done with citizen science. And she was able to share her own perspective about citizen science. So we make those handles available to you, and anyone can do a takeover, and there are a few weeks left open. We keep it open year round. So go ahead and sign up for one if that interests you at all. You don't have to be even super experienced. You could just do your takeover and talk about your citizen science journey and how you're beginning to approach it. Of course, you can sign up for you can join one of our global weekly calls. It's at 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern. And you might be wondering, why is the first call so early? It's because people from all around the world join. It's not out of place to have someone from Nigeria or from Asia or, whatever continent or country join these calls and talk about citizen science. You never know who you might encounter on the weekly call line. And then you can keep up with those facilitator updates. I'm already automatically signing you all up for it unless you opt out in the chat. But if you have friends who aren't signing up for those facilitator updates, they can get to it via the short URL or also via citizensciencemonth.org/mailing list. And we'll also include that in the follow-up email. And then you can also go to citizensciencemonth.org or scistarter.org/events to go ahead and get your event on the calendar. I would love to coordinate an event with you all and to give you my calendar to book availability if you need a Zoom line or help with registrations, help with live streaming, help with making a slide deck, whatever help you need. But if you just want to be independent, that's totally cool too. You can go ahead and add your event to the calendar. So now I'm going to pass the mic to Michael to talk about the All of Us research program.
Thanks, Caroline. And hey, everyone. As Caroline said, my name is Michael Balkenhol, and along with Amy, I work for the NNLM. So today's webinar and some of the other citizen science events that we talked about today and our plans for CitSci Month are supported by the network of the National Library of Medicine, or the NNLM, and we are an outreach and engagement program of the National Library of Medicine. And I'm going to share a little bit about the All of Us research program and our work with them as well. So All of Us is a research program of the National Institutes of Health, the NIH, and it is seeking 1 million or more people across the US to help speed up medical research. People who join will share information about their health, their habits, and what it's like where they live. By looking at patterns, researchers will learn more about what affects people's health. So the National Library of Medicine and All of Us have prioritized citizen science as a focus for engagement activities with and through libraries and other community-based organizations. And we're doing this to improve health literacy, digital literacy, and increase participation in scientific research. You can go to the next slide, Caroline. So All of Us is a precision medicine study, and it is one way researchers are looking to advance the ability to serve the public health needs of all people. So it's a new way of looking at health treatment and prevention as being designed for individuals. This way, doctors can take into account a person's lifestyle, their environment, and biological makeup to figure out the best treatment for the individual. Next slide. So the neat thing is that we already use precision medicine in some ways, such as with prescription eyeglasses, which I got a new prescription for this week. I was very excited about it. Eye doctors can tell us exactly what lenses will work best for us, but when we visit our regular doctor, they may be more likely to prescribe a treatment or a prevention that works well for most people, but everyone's needs are not the same. So All of Us is building a national database to help researchers eliminate one-size-fits-all medicine, but they do need volunteers from all walks of life to advance this work. Citizen scientists, of course, understand the importance of volunteering to advance scientific research. And since the future of individualized medicine may depend on an army of 1 million volunteers, who better to reach out to? Next slide. So during citizen science virtual events like those Scistarter is leading for CitSci Month, one of our goals is to share a little bit of information about All of Us, direct participants to where they can learn more, and help them where they can decide whether participating is right for them. So like I said, citizen science is a National Library of Medicine and NIH priority area. So through citizen science, the NNLM works to engage communities in addressing societal needs and accelerating biomedical science, technology, and innovation. So next slide. So collaborations between communities and researchers build capacity to address problems and meet research goals. So community participation is key in the research process to build trust between researchers and the communities they serve. Next slide. So the NLM is committed to encouraging citizen science as a way to provide opportunities for members of the community to work with the National Library of Medicine to improve and use NLM products in different novel ways. And next slide. So the National Library of Medicine offers a variety of online resources in addition to being the world's largest print biomedical library. If you work in public libraries or in healthcare in any capacity, you probably, of course, know Medline Plus, which is the online health information resource for the public. So it's a consumer-friendly website. It presents high-quality, relevant health and wellness information that is trusted, easy to understand, and available in English and Spanish and over 45 other languages. Medline Plus also features extensive information on genetics, as well as resources for citizen science and crowdsourcing. And then another couple resources that you may know, ChemID Plus from the National Library of Medicine. And if you do a little bit more research on the library side of things, probably PubMed. So next slide. So before handing things back to Caroline to wrap up and take a look to see if we have any last questions from folks, a little bit more context about who the NNLM is. So we provide trainings, funding, opportunities, and more to a wide variety of member organizations to help support our mission of advancing the progress of medicine and improving public health. So institutional membership for the NNLM is completely free of charge, and joining the network is easy. For more information about the NNLM, please do visit nnlm.gov to connect with your regional medical library staff like Amy and I, and to learn more about funding and other opportunities that we always have ongoing and how you can stay in touch with us. So with that, back to you, Caroline.
Yeah, and libraries and CBOs can join NNLM, is that right?
Absolutely. So any institution is who we list in our membership directory, but at the same time, we offer classes and all kinds of resources that any member of the public, anyone across the world is welcome to attend our classes and things like that. So, but as far as organizationally, absolutely, we have hospital libraries to public libraries to Girl Scout troops and everyone in between who is part of our network.
That is awesome. Yeah, and just like anyone can join NNLM, anyone can be part of Sit Sci Month. I've seen all sorts of different groups do events, everyone from, you know, really motivated church groups to like a local nonprofit to just a group of retirees who want to make a difference. There are all sorts of different communities that can do things for Citizen Science Month. I know the majority of our audience here today are from libraries or CBOs. So I hope all of you do celebrate Citizen Science Month in whatever makes sense to you. It could just be by printing out Scistarter's graphic resources and putting up an interactive poster in your institution. It could be, if you're all online, it could just be by doing an interactive list from Scistarter and engaging your community in different projects. You could honestly just send your community that scistarter.org/NLM URL and just have them do the tutorial. But if you do want to plan an event, and I hope you do, because I would love to do it with you, you could do an event on Zoom and have everyone participate at the same time. You could do an outdoor socially distant event. You could have your entire community sign up for all of us if it makes sense for them. Or you could just do a Citizen Science Month takeover. We'd love for you to sign up for that as well. So in closing, I hope that you start planning for Citizen Science Month. If you need any help at all, or you'd like to plan an event with me, I hope you join my office hours on Thursdays. There are 2 times available for you. If you're on the West Coast and you want to wake up at 5 a.m., you can come to that one, or you can wait till 8 a.m. No matter where you are in the world, I can find a time to connect with you. And if you just want to go ahead and get an event on the calendar, you can go to citizensciencemonth.org to add your event. And just so you all know, we will be signing you up for Citizen Science Month email updates after this event. And just let us know in the chat if you don't want to be signed up for these updates, if you want to opt out. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure that you're excited about it and you want to plan an event with us. So in conclusion, thank you so much to everyone here. Do any of my co-presenters or partners, Michael or Amy, do you have any closing words of wisdom for us before we go to some questions?
No, just a thank you to everyone for your time, and hope to see you out there doing some citizen science with us.
Yes, let's turn our curiosity into impact. Amy, do you have any closing words for us?
I just echo Michael. Thanks, guys, so much for coming, and definitely feel free to reach out to us. That link that was on one of Michael's slides for your regional medical libraries. We're happy to help connect you with resources to make citizen science activities possible.
Awesome. I'm trying to go through the chat to see if I missed any questions. Looks like we answered them. Someone said, I joined a few minutes late. What are attendees answering in the chat? Where are they located? Yes, we were trying to get your zip codes so we can keep track of who we're reaching. And spoiler alert, after you exit, we're going to ask for your zip codes again, just in case you didn't put it in the chat. And someone said, where do we find the books and display tools? Yes, there are lots of different ways. Amy's answers are awesome. And you can find even, I really like the example event we have on the bottom of the NLM page. So if you go to scistarter.org/NLM and you scroll to the bottom, we did a book talk with Darlene, the co-author of the book, the founder of Scistarter. And so she read aloud from it, and we also demoed a project that was featured in the book and talked about NNLM resources. So I think that event is a great example. But if you go to citizensciencemonth.org/resources, you can find additional book resources. Let's see. I'm trying to think about questions I usually get. What are people typically confused about? I'm drawing a blank here. I think we kind of covered everything. Can you think of any questions, Michael or Amy, that you usually get at events?
No, but I would say if you're heading out of the webinar and you think about something in a little bit, we're all very accessible and you're welcome to reach out and find us.
Yeah, and even if you come to next Thursday's event, it's about stall catchers and it's about those questions. But if we run out of stall catchers questions, you can even ask us some programming ones at the end. Or you could just come to office hours next Thursday and pepper us with questions, epiphanies, thoughts. And again, someone said, where do we sign up to get on the listserv? You're already signed up, my friend, unless you opt out. We are going to be sending you Citizen Science Month updates. One question I usually get about Scistarter and citizen science is if it's only the United States. And I think I would just emphasize that it's global. So a lot of projects will be limited to a particular geographic area. So I've seen examples of projects where it's a particular type of spider that's only found in like the Pacific Northwest that people are studying. And people will add that to Scistarter and restrict the geography on the Scistarter project finder. So when people are searching for opportunities, if they happen to search for the Pacific Northwest, that one comes up. A lot of projects like Stall Catchers, Eterna, and Norika are global. I know All of Us is a project that we want folks in the US to participate in. So, you know, there's something for everybody, and you can find something hyper-local for your country or global. It just depends on what you're searching for. Someone asked, what are the best strategies we can use to best recruit participants? I'm so glad you asked that. After you add an event to Scistarter, you can use our People Finder to message everyone in your area and have them, you know, join your event or invite them to join your event. Otherwise, on the Citizen Science Month resources page, we have a number of social media graphics that you're welcome to use. And that's a really good way to recruit people as well. We love social media. It's been a great tool, but I know a lot of folks may not have social media. So we recommend, you know, using posters and trying to be accessible to folks who might have internet access issues. So one example of one way we do that at Scistarter is we always simultaneously live stream these events to YouTube. And that helps accommodate folks who may not have a computer that could download Zoom if they're watching on their phone, or might not be able to have Zoom on their phone. And it allows them to watch the event after the fact, you know, if they are not able to make the exact event time. It's just about being thoughtful about engaging people. And another way we engage people who might have difficulties with internet access is I see a lot of people do work with projects that have data sheets. And a really good example of that is a project on our Scistarter education page called the Great Sunflower Project. And since we have a spare, you know, minute or two, I'll quickly show you all this because I saw quite a few educators were in the room when we did our poll to get started. So I'm just going to share my screen. So this education page we made at the start of 2020 because we were getting a lot of requests from educators for projects at different grade levels. And just to be clear, you could be 99 years old and do these projects that are for pre-K because it's pre-K and up. You know, they're not really targeted at a specific age group. This is just what we at Scistarter thought would be a good fit for different ages. And one of these is the Great Sunflower Project. It's really accessible for intergenerational learning. So you could do that if you're a student, you could do it if you're an adult or a retiree. And they have data sheets. So let's say that your community has internet access issues. You could print out these data sheets for them, have them all participate. They could turn the data sheets back into you, and then you could submit the data for them. And this project is cool because we've made a coloring sheet for it at Scistarter. So it also works as an educational tool because when we think of pollinators, we think bee, bumblebee, but butterflies are pollinators too. And so are bats. So you can use this coloring sheet. You can count the 11 pollinators on this page And then you can have people participate in the Great Sunflower Project through data sheets. And that's on our Scistarter education page, which I'll put in the chat. I think we're right at time. So we'll end it here. We hope to hear from you soon. We'll follow up in a big email about Citizen Science Month, the All of Us research program, planning events, doing activities. And thank you so much to everybody, especially Michael and Amy. And I'll talk to you all soon.